You're saying, for example, when they rush Sovar darts and jet spams entry on Ascent, how should I find protocols from my agent? This is your question. I feel like this is a good question, okay? But you're like, it feels like you're also overcomplicating it. So let's look at Ascent, for example, okay? Like it's not as deep as you guys think to understand this game. It's not as deep as like, oh, this has to happen for that to happen, and very intricately this has to happen. Like you could see this game very vaguely, okay? And there's depth to this game that people don't see because you don't talk about it enough, right? We don't have anyone talking about like how to see the game in depth. And these protocols come within the depth that you create. So how do you create depth in this game, right? Basically, it's never gonna happen in your ranked game, bro, that it's gonna be set that someone will do this XYZ if someone does this. Because your teammates are fucking stupid, bro. Let's be real. You can't develop protocols like this unless you're in a set team. Like if you're in a set team, you can make these protocols on the fly. Ah, I stand lane, I shoot KO knife, I stand here, I shoot Sova reveal, whatever. Simple as that. Bam. Took 2 seconds, right? But that's not the thing that people need to learn. Has nothing to do with anything people need to learn. What people need to learn is when people move on the map, when you move, when people freeze, when they start, how they start, and you need to understand, above all, like not only this, you need to understand intention. So there are different things. And how can you understand these things? Like and this is how I see it at least. This is how I see it, guys. It could be that someone else sees it in a completely different way. Remember, Valorant is like complex, let's say. I like to believe that when people start a round, they can open it up in any way they want. They can also open up the round by doing absolutely nothing. It wouldn't make a big difference. If we look at a default comp, let's say, on this map, this is like a default comp-ish. People most of the time play something like this, no? Let's say this is a default comp. For me, at least, let's say your attack side, okay? You put this motherfucker, let's say this is like a default start. You can open up in so many different ways, right? You can open up like this. You fucking jet smoke, you put your KO flash, whatever. So this is an opener, right? This is how you open a round. This is round start. Let's say this is how you start the round, right? When does Valorant become complex? Because when we use signature abilities on our initiators, and this is like understanding the enemy comp as well, but that's like an even deeper stage. You need to understand the comp. But let's assume that people play default comps, right? These signature abilities have a CD. These initiators can't execute until the signature abilities are back up. Do we understand? Is this like a common consensus that we all have? Do we all understand this? The enemy team cannot possibly execute after having used two signature abilities instantly, especially the KO knife, which is like good for burst, good for exec, right? They can't insta exec off of this. So what does that tell us as players, right? What does that say? Well, it says the enemy team has done a starter. This starter has the intention to go in mid. Okay? This is their intention. Now the next question is, can they scale? No. So what will happen then? One or two. They either move or freeze. They can't scale, but they will fight for the map space they want to get, right? They will fight for the map space they want to get. Let's assume they get mid for free. They still can't do anything. Do you understand? They still can't do anything. Yeah, they took mid away from us, but they can't do anything. They can't insta execute. The round starts at 140, let's say. By the time it's 1 minute, that's when they can play again. But people never talk about it. Like people like they never talk about this subconsciously. It's super stupid. Like you have to understand that there's a state where the enemy freezes, where the enemy moves, and where the enemy starts. And complexity is added when you start doing variations of the same round, but in different ways. For instance, you could do a late mid default with the intention of starting B lobby by switching the knife up here. You could also condition this knife a few rounds before and then go into it late without doing anything on this knife at the start. But it's like it's really small things that no one does because everyone's just a fucking noob, to be honest. Like everyone's just a big bot, bro. And there's even more to this than just that, bro. There's even more to this. There's theory on Lotus, for example, like how to play the map on Lotus, or like the things you need to do. I mean, bro is a coach. I mean, for me, this I'm just explaining how I see it, and for me, it's like it's not about protocols, bro. For me, to play good in Valorant, you understand fundamental concepts of how the game is designed. The game is designed in a way where once like they can open up however they want. Let's say whatever. Like I'm not even gonna talk in waves because that's so boring. But like 145 to 115, this is probably their opener. 115 to 1 minute transition period. 1 minute could be exec as well, like that. By 30 you have to do certain thing. So this is like a whole timer of a round, right? This is round start. They put their initiator util, could be like for example hard A. Let's say we're playing breach solo. Signature util goes out. Bam. This is signature util, guys. It's a 30-second CD, guys. It's quite literally a 30-second CD. They can't scale on this. Do you understand? They can't do anything off of this. They can take A, yes. They can take this space, but they can't continue. Are we all in agreement? Do you understand what I'm saying? So protocol on protocol, the only protocol you could technically have is like they have a Sova. Like this is like an easy protocol, like on Icebox, bro. Icebox, Jet wants to peek somewhere, right? You go break her fucking reveal, guys. That's like a set, like that's like a, a protocol. But like you don't have set protocols like that. First you need to understand the game, guys, and how the game is played. And then you can start scaling upwards and doing whatever you want. But until you have the basis down of like, do I know when the enemy moves? Do I know when the enemy freezes? Do I know their intent? Do I know when they exec? If you don't know, well, think of it like I just told you. In your ranked games, think of it like I just told you guys. Quite literally, they will open the round on 140. They will do something. Something. They use signature util. They cannot exec, guys. 115, this is probably a transition period after their opener to 1 minute. On 1 minute again, that's when they're probably gonna exec or fake. On 30 seconds, exec. It's full logical. It's like there's full logic to it. CDs down. CDs back up. CDs up. If they don't commit. Bam bam. Bam bam bam.